So this is just a quick video for anybody who's thinking about getting into cycle commuting or cycling in general, covering the essential items that I think you need on a day-to-day basis. So starting off with locks, what you want to do is get a combination of a D-lock and a cable. The D-lock is there to prevent your frame from getting stolen, and the cable is there to deter someone from swiping your wheels really quickly, because most wheels nowadays are quick release. And don't be one of those people who locks their bike up with a cheap cable key lock, because people cut right through them and you're going to lose your bike in no time, especially if you live in London or somewhere in it like New York. But regardless, get a good D-lock. This is a Gold Secure one. I would say minimum get a Silver Secure one because they're so cheap nowadays, and get a cable. If it's long enough, put it through your saddle as well, so it'll cover your wheels and your saddle. Next up, covering ourselves for any punctures that we might get on the way. Carry at least one spare inner tube with you, some tire levers, and also a bike pump. That way you can just quickly swap out the punctured tube for the spare one and take it home, so you can then patch it up and use it again instead of having to buy a new one. It'll also save you from having to walk home with your bike, or go into a bike shop and then paying them to repair it for you. Also carry a patch kit with you just in case you get more than one puncture. And I would highly suggest that you learn how to fix a puncture. It's a very essential and easy skill to learn. There are lots of YouTube videos on it, and like I said, it will save you from having to walk home or having to pay someone else to do it for you. And then another top tip would be to get one of these Presta-schrader valve adapters. They're really cheap. They're about £1, but it will just allow you to use pumps that they have at petrol stations intended for cars on your Presta valve, which is very common tube used on road bikes. Next up, just so that we can adjust everything on the bike, I have 4 Allen keys or hex keys and a screwdriver. You could get a multi-tool. It's much more, compact, but I find that these just make it easier to adjust everything on the bike, and they don't take up that much space, and they can sometimes even be lighter than most multi-tools. A chain tool is not so essential, but just on the off chance that you happen to snap your chain, you have a chain tool and then some chain links. But I would say these things here are the essential things that you need on a day-to-day basis. So to carry all those tools and spares, you're going to need either a saddlebag like this. This is a Toe Peak Aero Wedge Medium, which I definitely rate because it can carry everything, including perhaps some snacks or extra tubes, and it's also expandable with this zip. But this is not necessary. I always used to use like one of my sister's spare makeup bags. I used to dump everything in there and then just chuck it into my bag, which I had with me all the time anyway. And then on the subject of bags, if you're going to use a bag and not panniers, what you want to do is get one that's got really good padding, at the very least water resistant, if not waterproof, and one with really good strong straps. I definitely recommend getting one with a chest strap because it helps keep the bag in place on your back instead of it moving side to side, and that can lead to a lot of back pain. So I definitely recommend getting one with a chest strap, as it will keep the bag in place. Trust me on that. And if you're going to be riding at night, you're definitely going to need some lights. If you're someone who perhaps stays late at the office or at the library or something, or you're just going out with mates, you're going to be riding back home, it'd be probably very wise to have some lights just to make yourself more visible. My main tips are: get ones that are USB rechargeable and have the cables with you, because you can always find somewhere to charge them, hopefully. And then get ones that are easy to mount on your bike. As you can see, these don't require any bolts or anything. They're just good strong rubber straps that you could perhaps mount anywhere on the bike, more or less. And then you need one white light at the front and one red one at the back. And also make sure that they're bright enough, because I always see some people who have really faint lights. And in the UK, it's required by law. I've actually seen people get pulled over by police for not having lights. So one of the last few things that I think are essential, depending perhaps on where you live in the world, is a jacket. It doesn't have to be cycling specific, but what you do want is one that's windproof, waterproof, and also one that's reasonably breathable. Materials that I'd personally recommend are Gore-tex, Polartec Neoshell, and this is Schoeller C-change. So those materials I personally know to be really of high quality and really reliable, but obviously there are lots of other materials out there. So the main point is to have ones that have those properties that I mentioned, but also ones that you can rely on, that are very durable as well. And don't be afraid to spend a little bit more money on something that does look good on you and that you feel good in, because it's going to make you want to cycle more, especially when it comes to your bike. First and foremost, your jacket and your bag, those are things that you shouldn't be afraid to spend a little bit more money on, because you're going to use them every day anyway. And then on top of that, you're probably going to need some gloves unless you have abnormally warm hands. Get ones that are windproof and waterproof. A hat, and then a neck gaiter is really a good thing to have as well, because it will keep your neck warm. And on those really cold, chilly days, you can stretch it up to your nose and your cheeks to keep your face warm a little bit. And you're also going to need one more thing, and that is a helmet. So yeah, it's not required by law, but you know, I used to be one of those people who thinks, oh, it's not necessary, it's not really going to save your life. But having heard stories from fellow cyclists, if you do fall off, you're better off having a helmet on your head than having your skull smash against the floor. So yeah, go into a bike shop, see how they fit, and if they're quite expensive in bike shops, just try and find the one that you do like, and then just go try and find a deal online. They're not that expensive anymore, so yeah, I would definitely recommend you get a helmet as well. And last but not least, get a water bottle. Even if you don't have a bottle holder, just keep one in your bag and drink when you get to where you need to get, especially on the warm summer days. Just make sure you have some water on you so you can always stay hydrated.